Hey, what's up? It's Bash. So, I'm here to talk a little bit today about how to perform an instant air dash. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how the input works and how to perform it. And then I'm going to talk about a couple of situations in which you might use it, as well as give some demonstrations of those. The way the input works is just like a grounded dash is tap forward, like that. And I think I should specify how this works exactly. Is you want to be hitting forward and then immediately returning your stick to the neutral, either by releasing the forward input and just letting the stick rest in the middle, or if you're playing on pad, tapping down forward or tapping down with force. I mean, not the direction down. Tapping forward with your thumb and then releasing and just returning to resting it on the D-pad in the center. That's what I mean when I say returning to neutral in terms of inputs. So you'll be going forward and then immediately returning to neutral, and then doing that twice quickly. That's the dash input, right? That's how the dash input functions. You can hear my hitbox. You should be able to kind of get the rhythm of how the inputs work. The hitbox, of course, is doing the hard work for me of, timing the release and then hitting the button again for the next forward input. But that is the timing for a dash, right? So if you're in the air and you do this, you get an air dash. Right? Something that's neat about Guilty Gear is it considers up forward for forward jump as both a forward input and an up input. And why this is important is because, as I said earlier, a dash input is tapping forward and then tapping forward again really quickly, right? So the up forward for your forward jump doesn't only count as an input for forward jump. It also counts as the first forward input for a potential dash in the air. Because of this, we can do up forward, tap it, immediately release it. Don't hold it down. We're not doing one of these. We're just tapping it. We're just like that. We're letting go, right? And then we're immediately hitting forward. That is the instant air dash. What's happening is, basically, instead of the full forward jump happening, you are canceling forward jump into an air dash as soon as it will let you. As soon as the startup of forward jump is over and you can act, your character is immediately air dashing. Instantly, you might say. Instantly air dashing. IAD, instant air dash. So, some applications. Typically, the reason why you want to know how to IAD is because you're playing against someone like Zato, and they're doing stuff like this. And they're just controlling all of the ground, right? And it sucks. It's a bad time. No one's having any fun. The Zato player is just, they're probably not having fun either. They're not getting to play their pressure. They're just hitting buttons, right? It's a bad time. So if you know that this is the situation, the ground is a no-go at the moment. Either because Zato is doing his dirty stuff, or Soul has like a fireball going, or Kai's doing stun edge or far slash. You just want to be in the air and kind of get over it, right? You can jump and then dash and then hit a button. Or you can just, super jump in, right? And just go around it. However, all these other options have in common is that they're kind of slow. Your opponent can see what you're doing and react with an anti-air pretty easily. Even if they're, having all sorts of hitting buttons and going crazy, they can go, oh wait, you're jumping, all right, time to anti-air you, right? Instant air dash does not allow them this luxury. If we're instant air dashing, we're coming in, right? Another thing it allows you to do is it facilitates your character getting back in after being pushed out. So if you're someone like Milia, right, and you've got your knockdown, your opponent has to guess, right? Okay, it's Milia's turn to play the video game. I have to chill here, play some defense, see what's going on with Milia, right? Well, you can approach from the ground, Naruto run on them, do some lows, have a good time, right? But with almost the exact same speed as knocking them down and then immediately dashing for a low, you can also choose to come in for an overhead. So it facilitates getting back in after a knockdown, and with certain characters, certain setups. I'm not going to pretend like that was what you're supposed to do with Milia. I just want to demonstrate what this looks like and why it's useful to be able to know how to do this. Similarly, certain characters like Zato have block strings that they can do after they block you successfully. You know, you've done all the stuff you can on block, and then you have to kind of end your turn, and they can push you out. You don't want that. You want to get back in. So Zato will do something like this to push you out, right? It's a very similar, very common Zato block string. Is making you block all this. Okay, but I'm back in. That was cute and all, Zato. You've had your fun. But I'd like to be back in, please. So it allows you to get back in on your offense rather quickly after a knockdown, or after you've been pushed out by your opponent, or just successfully block them in general. Another thing is that certain characters, including Milia, which is why I've picked her, hopefully I can get the combo this time with relative ease, can combo with instant air dash. So Milia can do it, it's like her BNB. Venom does it for some stuff in the corner. Soul can do it after a counter hit 2D. Dizzy gets them off of a lot of counter hits as well. You know, there's basically an IAD route for every character in the game, so knowing this input for those is kind of important. There we go. That was close enough. That wasn't the optimal, but you get the idea. So that's what the instant air dash is. If you have any more questions about it, leave it in the comments. DM me on Discord. You can just add me in the Guilty Gear server. I don't care what server it's in. If you want to be in the general server, if you want the voice chat server, channels rather. You just at Bash. Say, hey Bash, you said anyone could talk to you, ask you questions. What do you eat for lunch? I'll answer that question. But also, I'll answer questions about Guilty Gear that I am, certified to provide an answer to. And this is one of those. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Thanks for watching.